Hello, everyone. This is Phoenix Tremaine, and today we're going to be talking about Germaine Rivers and the comments he made on social media that has caused a huge backlash. But before we get started, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share. It's free to do. It helps out the channel a lot. So thank you so much in advance if you choose to do so. I'd really appreciate it. Also, we have a membership. We get early access to videos such as this one, and we have a membership where you also get our lives on Fridays where we have great conversations. I'm sure we're going to be talking about this live coming this Friday, along with all the spoilers and great commentary on the soaps as we build friendships over on the Soap Fan membership. So now let's go on ahead and talk about Jermaine Rivers, what he said. But I gotta say that I'm not doing this video because I want you to tag him, dislike him, go after him. I'm doing this post because it's viral online. And so I think we should talk about it over here at the Soap Fam. And we want to enlighten him on how to handle situations such as negativity on social media in regards to the show, him, or anything else that's going on. And we're going to start this by giving him his props because it seems as though since 2013, he has been on his grind, doing lots of extra work in the beginning, doing one or two episodes here or there, like he did two episodes on Devious Maids. He did two episodes on Is Loving You Is Wrong. And you can look at everything on IMDb. He did one episode on Queen Sugar as an uncredited paramedic, which just shows him doing extra work and different things going on his grind. Being on his grind, his big first breakout was playing Shatter on The Gifted, which it only lasted one season. It was a Marvel TV show. I watched most of it, but I didn't really stick with it. I didn't like the show. But it was 12 episodes. He was on 12 episodes of that. But he was here, there on other shows, doing one or two episodes, until we finally get to The Young and the Restless as his next biggest thing, where as of this recording, he's done 39 episodes playing Damian Kane. And so I guess it's time to talk about what Jermaine actually said. So here we go. Jermaine posted, I'm convinced that most, not all, of today's let me start over. I'm convinced that most, not all, of today's so-called soap fans are far removed from the sweet old ladies who watched it back in the 70s and 80s and 90s. The internet has created some straight savages who are mean-spirited and tune in just to complain about the shows they watch. What happened to watching soaps for the love of it? Why are y'all so mad, hateful, and triggered? And then he has like a mean face, hashtag real talk, hashtag spread love. So I get it. I get it. The frustration of people being very hateful and nasty about actors, about storylines. And I'm sure he's triggered because he doesn't have the greatest storyline on the show. He hasn't really been embraced by soap fans the way they've done other actors. And I blame the writing. But before we get into that, let me share with you a rebuttal of something someone said that I'm going to read to you now. Chrissy from Soap Spoiler said, I agree a few are toxic, but not everyone. I disagree on saying the incredible loyal group of fans who have watched and loved your show for 50 odd years need therapy. These are the very people who pay your show to be on the air. Where is the PR team on this? At YNR, hash underscore CBS, hashtag YR. So not all of the responses to what he said was nasty. That's why I chose this one. But the one that I liked the most was Ryan W.'s response. Now, this is just a little bit of what he said. I'm going to read the whole post. It would not fit on my screen, but Ryan W. said, um, soap fans aren't triggered, they are invested. Dismissing legitimate viewers' feedback as unhealed trauma completely misses what marks this genre special. These shows have thrived for decades precisely because they create deep emotional connections with their audience. The sweet old ladies of previous decades were just as passionate and opinionated about their shows. They wrote letters to the networks, called in complaints, and discussed storylines extensively. They just didn't have social media to amplify their voices. Today's fans are their successors, carrying forward the same investment and care. Now, toxicity in fandom is absolutely a valid concern that should be addressed, but there's a crucial distinction between personal attacks on actors, writers, or fellow fans versus thoughtful criticism about storytelling choices when fans critique how stories are presented, pointing out plot holes, pacing issues, racism, blatant favoritism, or problematic themes without attacking anyone personally. That's legitimate discourse, not toxicity. The distinction matters, especially when fans are calling out issues that others might hesitate to address. When longtime viewers criticize poor writing, character assassination, or disrespectful treatment of legacy characters, they're not being savages. They're holding shows accountable to their own standards. Constructing, Constructive criticism isn't hate, it's caring enough to want better. We can love soaps and expect them to be well written and inclusive. That's not toxic behavior. That's being a discerning audience that respects both the medium and ourselves as viewers. Well said, Ryan W. I couldn't have put it better. Well, but I could have said it better myself. He did such a good job in this concise, well written reply to Germaine Rivers, what he was saying. So I'm going to put up the other thing, one of Germaine Rivers' responses, because he's burying himself deep. He says Germaine Rivers says it comes down to emotional intelligence. If someone gets triggered by watching a soap, there's a deeper problem that's not being addressed in their personal life. It's clearly evidence of some unhealed trauma that the viewer hasn't worked through. Let's not place blame on a fictional TV character or storyline that's being played out for entertainment purposes as an excuse for toxic behavior. We're not dodging accountability over here. Ugh. Now, there's this thing called media training, how actors, singers, entertainers in general learn how to respond to media, respond to fans, how to act in public. And I don't know Jermaine personally. I don't know what post triggered him to even write these posts. But what I do, because my comment section can get nasty, and when they do, my best friend becomes the block button. Sometimes I don't even finish reading and I just go ahead and block the person and delete their comment, because people are going to be toxic, people are going to troll, and you don't have to listen, you don't have to read, and you don't have to create discourse on your platform, which is why I'm quick to say I will block and delete negative comments. And people get upset. Sometimes people will realize their comment is blocked. I might not block you right away. I may just delete a comment because I may feel like it's not attacking a character, but attacking an actor, or it becomes racist or problematic. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give this person another chance because I feel like they kind of went right to the edge of saying some disrespectful stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this because I may notice it might be somebody who I've seen for years commenting. I'm like, okay, maybe they had a bad day, unless it was truly racist or prejudice, then I just delete and block without anything. But sometimes the way people feel about certain characters, it can get borderline showing someone is prejudiced or racist or whatever, and they may not mean it. So you may get that grace from me, but when it's obvious, you don't. Or if I see it repetitively, you don't, because I will block. Um, and that also blocks people from being able to see my channel. So, so I'm willing to do that. And to Jermaine, I really hope that he learns that you don't want these to be fighting in these social media streets because they won't fight you directly. They're going to go straight to CBS. They're going to go to the producers. They're going to send, protests. They're going to do a lot of things, and you're going to put a target right on your back because let's face it. Let's look at the character that Jermaine Rivers is playing. He's playing Damian Kane, who came onto the scene. I had high hopes for. I was like, okay, this is cool. They even got like a dark skin actor, which on soaps we don't actually see a lot of. So it's good to see the diversity even within the colors of the different actors that are African American. So, I'm like, okay, win-win, we're good. Let's see what this naming character brings. And slowly but surely, I saw that soaps are going to soap when it comes to Black audiences. And I felt like he wasn't really getting the writing development that the character deserved. It had nothing to do with the actor. And when I started to really not care about the character, because I saw the writing on the wall, was how they had Damien throw himself at Lily. But Lily, as you can see in this picture, kept looking at him like, why are you talking to me? Why are you in this? Why are you in the scene with me? She gave him no grace. I've seen actors give, another actor grace and time to grow on a soap. I've been a producer, writer, director for almost 30 years now. And so I've dealt with a lot of actors. I've been on a lot of sets and I've done a lot of different things. And I can just see the chemistry wasn't there. Lily just kept looking like, oh God, why do you have this man still in the scene with me? The look she gave was like she wanted to throw up. That's the only way I said it in my commentary all the time. I'm like, will they please give him another love interest because clearly Crystal is not feeling him and not giving him grace in these scenes. And that's just my interpretation as a viewer and somebody who's worked with actors for almost 30 years. And then you got uh, um, the return of Kane. Now, the producer had said, I think way back in January, that Lily would be meeting the love of her life and that they're going to be going to that story. I thought the love of her life was going to be Damien. I thought they were going to really go there with her. And then once we realized Billy Flynn was playing Kane, I said, oh, okay. So yeah, he's just there for the ride. And she's currently using him to make Kane upset, make Kane jealous. But how can you invest in this relationship or root for them when the producers in interviews, Billy Flynn, even Crystal interviews, have talked about, the great romance of Lily and Clayne and sort of reclaiming that. So everything I've read has been always talking about this epic Kane Lily romance. And where does that leave Damien? He's on the outside. So with no backup love interest that we've seen, and we know that, the heat has been brought on by Beyond the Gates because it's a CBS show that actually, comes on. the same network, that they're not really competitors, they're companion shows. But we've seen how, great a show can be with a predominantly Black cast, where these actors are doing great. And the direct competition, to be honest, Gates General Hospital, because in a lot of markets they come on at the same time at 2 p.m. Some markets they don't come on at the same time, but a lot of them they do. And so we've seen General Hospital step up the storylines with the Black characters. It's been 2, 3 years, and they're finally getting around to Portia and Jordan being rivals and giving, more Black characters more things to do. But that is not normal on soaps. But we have seen on Young the Restless an uptick of Black characters on the show because, they don't want to lose Black viewers and they want to show more representation. So this is the most Blackness we've seen on Young and the Restless in many, many years. We've got Nate, we've got Holden, we've got Devon, and we also have Damien, along with also the females. Amy, Audra is Latin. We got a whole lot of ethnicity on Young and the Restless right now that we wouldn't normally see. And yes, some of them have been sidelined, like Brighton James, who plays Devon, who used to be like the star of the show, but one of the stars of the show, especially when they had Michelle Morgan playing Hillary. But lately, some viewers have also noticed that Devon is ready to take his spot back. He's been working out, he's in slim down, he's in shape, and he's ready to be front and center back on the show, even though the actress that plays Abby is still reoccurring. She's not on contract. And in a recent interview, she mentioned that they haven't asked her to come back. So they didn't had Devon marry Abby, knowing that they were putting her on reoccurring. And he's barely been seen since. He's in and out, but he's not like he has the center of the storyline. But I say that to say that I can easily see them eventually saying, well, we got a lot of Black guys on here. And so, we'll just put Devon back in the spotlight and shift Damien right on out because we still have Nate and Holden. And Nate, the actor played Holden, he started on reoccurring, whereas Germaine Rivers was already on contract, and then he got put on contract. So yeah, they are trying, uh, with this whole diversity thing, which I love as a Black viewer. Um, but I also have been watching soaps for what, 40 years? So, as a kid watching my mother, I count those years too. So I've been watching soaps for like 40 years, and I've seen the issues that a lot of these soaps have with diversity, writing for all characters, putting, Black characters, especially in, really good storylines, giving them something to do. A lot of times a new character will come in a major story, and then it's like they don't have the next story lined up for the character, and then they're just background or they're just propping up other characters. So that's why I say, if Jermaine is already in jeopardy because the character doesn't seem like it has legs. I hopefully he does. Hopefully he get him a new love interest because we know they're putting Lily and Kane back together eventually. I don't see plot twist. Lily falls in love with Damien and maybe Kane and Phyllis or something. But I don't see that happening. But when you piss off the fans, when you talk about how triggered they are and how they need mental help, that is not saving your job. That's not having fans love you. You ignore those fans that are being triggering, that are being disrespectful. You block them. You don't read comment sections. Some actors just don't read comment sections because it is not worth it to create this negativity in the fan base uh, and have it targeted at you. Like I said, I block them, I ignore them, I delete those comments when they're on my platform. And I just urge Jermaine to take my advice and just, maybe do an apology tweet, whether you mean it or not, calm some people down, and just address the fans that love you, want to see you do great. Because I feel like Jermaine is on a trajectory where Young and the Restless isn't his last stop. I think that he'll continue to do great things, be on other shows, and that, he's talented. And I would like for him to do great things, but you don't want to start having soap fans hate you. And then, when you try to do other things, these same people, they don't just watch soaps, they watch other things, have them saying negative things about you on your next project. So hopefully you'll be Damien Kane as long as you can, but you can't let these people trigger you and you can't react, because videos like this will be made. At least mine is trying to say, hey, look, you said some triggering things back to people, but that is not that is not good media training, you know. And with that, I'm gonna leave to my comment section. I'm gonna see what the fans think, what people think about this video, what people think about the things you said. Do they feel like you were in the right to call people out for toxicity and tell them they need help and they had mental problems, or do you people feel like me that you could just zip it? you know, you talk to your friends, you talk to your family, you talk to your coworkers. When people trigger you, they'll probably tell you to stop reading that stuff and only react with positivity, you know, back. That spread that love that you had hashtag spread that love back. Oh, you hate Damien. Okay, cool. Well, maybe next week you'll like him. He's got other stuff coming up. Stay tuned. Do stuff like that. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see your responses.